last 8 months, I've been using ChatGPT along with other LLMs to try to improve my workflow and my efficiency in everyday life. But one thing that comes along with using these types of models is being able to communicate with them. If you can communicate with them in a super quality way, then you're more likely to get stuff done faster and, well, at a higher quality, of course, because your outputs are better. But if you can't communicate with these models effectively, then, you're kind of screwed. So I wanted to talk about prompting, prompt engineering, whatever that means, and just that whole realm in general, because your outputs are only as good as your inputs. There's a direct correlation in life, I think, but also, obviously with these models, that is absolutely crucial, and that's everything. So here's my little presentation on prompting, and let's just get right into it. So what's prompting? Listen, you need to be able to talk to these models effectively and efficiently. Nobody likes starting their day, hopping on their computer, running into a problem, going to ChatGPT, and then having their problem amplified and actually having the time it takes to solve that problem be a lot longer than if they just didn't use GPT or an LLM in general. That's the worst thing. People are already finding it hard to integrate AI into their routines and into their workflows. So the fact that prompting can be a make or break for some people and have them just give up on the entire thing as a whole means that we need to put more emphasis on this for sure. So I know it's a meme for sure, but it is important. So all prompting is crafting inputs to tell these large language models what we want them to do and what outputs they need to give us. So the importance of prompt engineering is something we're going to cover as well. Essential skills, mastery leads to better model performance, obviously. And then just a few of the techniques which are super important: zero shot, one shot, few shot, chain of thought prompting, and then role prompting. And these last two here, chain of thought and role prompting, are two that actually go hand in hand with the other three here. These are the core three, the three main pillars. And then these are just little decorations on top of the pillars that are the little cherry on top. So, essentially, this is what it feels like, at least for me, all the time. So you can think of GPT or any LLM as the waiter, right? And you know that they have access to this infinite pool of knowledge. Everything is there. It's all at your fingertips. You can find out whatever you want. But when you're prompting at a very basic level, you not only are a lot of the time confirming your biases, but GPT reinforces them. Because when you prompt and you say, I want to learn more about this, why, I want to learn more about volcanoes, why are they so ugly? You're adding a bias in inherently that you think volcanoes are ugly, and then GPT will often, if prompt poorly, will just reaffirm that bias and give it back to you because that's what you're asking it. So we need to find a way to kind of get around that. So you're going to get the chicken. you know it. There's no way around it. You're 100% getting the chicken. But GPT will oftentimes give you everything but what you want. So that's why we need to learn how to prompt effectively here. So first technique, zero shot prompting. Now this is one that all of you are familiar. Well, you're familiar with all of these, but maybe you just aren't aware of it. But zero shot prompting is the most common form of prompting. All it is it's extremely basic. It's where everyone kind of starts at square one on the prompting journey, prompting road to mastery. Now, all it is prompting with no examples. So you can think of shots as examples. So when I say shot, zero shot, one shot, multi-shot, or few shot, it's just the amount of examples that GPT has to base its output on. So your input includes examples, or in this case, no examples with zero shot. And then GPT will base its output on your examples. So zero shot, no examples in your prompt. So basic form. Now, the thing about LLMs is they can perform tasks without examples. You can think of these models as just being trained on immense pools of data. And with all that data comes real world context. The sun is bright. When the sun goes down, it gets dark. It just inherently knows these things. So in some sense, zero-shot prompting is fine. Like, it works, right? And you can get outputs that will for sure not be optimal, but they'll work for some people. And some people stop here because this is all they need. And that's another thing. It's important to just recognize like what you're optimizing for and what you need. So zero-shot prompting, what is 2 plus 2? So it knows that 2 plus 2 is 4 logically, and it'll give you 4. So in this case, for this kind of a question, we don't actually have to include examples because it inherently knows this basic functionality, this basic question. So this is just sentiment analysis without explicit examples. And one thing is it's quick, super quick, get in, get out, boom, and it requires no context, right? So that's the first kind of prompting. Now, one-shot prompting, you might have guessed it, it has one example. So unlike zero-shot, we're actually providing an example now that the model can go off of. So it's providing a single example to guide the model. Larger capabilities, more options here, improved understanding and response generation. So for example, you're an expert translator. Your task is to translate sentences from English to French. Use the example provided below as a guide. So translate the following sentence from English to French. English, good morning, how are you? French, right? So it's giving it one example of the task that it needs to perform. Now translate the following sentence from English to French. I am very happy to meet you. It can go off this. And for more nuanced, complex tasks, it will improve generation by a lot. So you might have caught that we actually have a role in the beginning. Remember, I said that role prompting, it goes hand in hand with these 3 pillars, zero-shot, one-shot, and few-shot. So you're an expert translator. We're giving it a role so it can play into the role. It can feel comfortable being in that role, and it knows that it doesn't have to deviate because we've given it one narrow job. And then coupled with our one shot, our example right here, then you're almost guaranteed a fairly good output every single time. And as you can see, translates task with a simple example. Obviously, more context than zero shot, improving the accuracy. So then that brings us to few shot prompting. So this is going to be where we have multiple examples. So again, nothing changes from one shot to few shot other than the amount of examples we provide. That's literally it. So as you can see, it has even higher accuracy, and this is the absolute best approach for the really nuanced tasks that have a higher level of complexity. Again, we're giving it a role, expert sentiment analysis model, analyze the sentiment of these products, positive, neutral, and negative. And then we have all these examples, 6 to be exact, positive, neutral, negative. We give them all these. Now classify the sentiment of the following review, and it will be able to do this in no problem because we've given it so much context, right? So one shot works, it's great. A lot of the times when you're actually building automated systems, one shot and few shot prompting, a lot of the time one shot prompting is actually sufficient with these systems. So if we're building this system for an e-com store, right? This with few shot is optimal, but you can build these systems with one shot prompts within Make, or if you're actually coding this out, and it'll do a pretty good job. Like it'll almost hit 100% of its tasks. So one shot is absolutely fine for these automated systems. Few shot is always better. More examples equals more accuracy. And this is me. Actually, this is you and me. We're together in this journey when we try to prompt and we just get nothing. It's cooked every time I try to cook. But then again, chain of thought prompting goes right hand in hand with zero shot, one shot, two shot. So chain of thought prompting, it just adds another layer of complexity to our prompt, therefore enhancing output quality. So zero shot or one shot, or multi. I don't know why multi-shot isn't in here, or few shot, but or few shot. So all you're doing is giving it a step-by-step guide. Chain of thought prompting applies to all these, and it's a step-by-step guide. Again, you're achieving more accuracy because you're adding more detail and you're adding more context to the prompts. Context really is everything when we're dealing with LLMs. Solve a math problem, and we give it steps, right? So it knows in a chronological order what steps it has to follow to achieve the task in the most optimal way. Identify the numbers, perform addition, verify the result. Easy, done. Again, if you were building these systems more automated, you could actually have, like if this was a very complex system, we could actually have different agents that specify in each step of the process. So you could be like, have a engineer write the code, send it to your senior dev, he'll review the code, and then send it to the production team or whatever. They'll verify that the UI looks good, and then it'll send it to like the CEO or whatever. So you can have these, you could have like GPTs or AI agents for each step of the process. So you can kind of, extrapolate it and think about it like that with chain of thought prompting. But in this case, we're just talking to LLMs. So it's just step 1, 2, 3, all with the same agent verifying the results. And again, this just improves the accuracy for complex tasks like way more, like way more. And it has a logical sequence to follow. So yeah, can't go wrong there. Chain of thought prompting is fire. Now, role prompting, don't really have to talk about this too much. It's exactly what we did before when we did the translation example. You are an expert translator. It lets the model like sink into the role, focus on it, get nice with it, and like immerse into a character. Like it's going like DiCaprio, it's getting immersed into the character. It's like method acting, right? That's like literally all the model's doing. So yeah, you can like read this if you want. That's kind of it. Give it a quick read. Okay, nice. And this meme is the most factual thing I've seen all year. This is where 99% of the population is with ChatGPT. And then this is where like maybe 10%, not even like 5% of the population is using all these tools, right? I can't believe Snapchat AI is in there. That's insane. But all these tools, right? Using them, going back and forth, copying and pasting prompts and outputs and inputs between all these things. And you just get this mishmash of garbage. If you're good at it, you can do it well because some models are better at writing code. Some models are better at debugging code, for an example. But a lot of the time, this gets way too annoying and there's no point of doing this. But if you just use ChatGPT, you can be the Zen Jedi master down here. And this is facts. Like if you really dial it in, you can get to this level, 0.1% of everyone out there. And okay, so this slide is, just emphasizing the importance of structured prompts. This is another technique that can significantly increase your results using LLMs. So headings, lists, using Markdown gives like really great results, formatting your text in Markdown. But yeah, brackets, quotes, headings, lists, titles, all that stuff gives the model more clarity on what it's looking for. If there's a more important section, make it bold, put it in quotes, whatever, right? Stuff like that. That always works. At the end of the day, clear instructions are always a good thing because they always increase consistency. And this is just what I've been saying this whole time, literally just combine all these techniques. So roll with one shot, with chain of thought, with examples, with everything. Just combine it all. You get the best outputs combining it all. So it's important to master all of these because they all have their own different use cases. Sometimes zero is the best, sometimes one shot, sometimes multi-shot or few shot. I keep saying multi-shot. But yeah, obviously you're not going to use few shot prompting if you just want to know like what color the sky is. The model inherently has the capacity and the logic to understand that question. So it's important to understand when each technique is useful and when each technique will yield the best results for you. Best practices, just experiment with different prompting techniques, try stuff, take out stuff, add quotes, remove quotes. You just have to experiment and put in your, few hours on this. Structured formats, continuously refine your prompts, always important. And yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. So like, don't beat yourself up if you can't get correct outputs. I still have trouble talking to these models and I still get annoyed. So like, don't even worry about it. Trust me, it doesn't happen overnight. He just left OpenAI, but this was like one of the, I believe, founders and like chief engineers there, Ilya Suchiji. Look at this guy. And yeah, I don't know. Keep trying, man. Just keep going. And yeah, the NVIDIA CEO, coding is dead. AI will make English the new programming language. Andre Karpathy, or however you say his last name, he said that the new hottest programming language is English. And again, this isn't 100% true yet. Coding is still extremely valuable, but every year we move forward, I think this will become more and more true, which is kind of insane. So now go mess around, go figure it out. You got this. I believe in you.